Hi, I'm Gnobo Brice Calypso. Please call me Brice. This is the third and last segment of Why Mystical Numerology. The second segment was called subtitled Rubber to the Road. This one is more of the personal reason why someone like me would do mystical numerology. As I'm very well aware, and as many Americans have told me, is everybody has their story. So I don't generally share my story with people because of that, because I agree with that. We all do have our story. But I also believe that within each person's story and experience, it speaks universal themes, universal truths that we can all relate to. And I also believe that one person's experience creates sound, creates music, or distortion, or even chaos within the fabric of our living. And it's there. It's in there. It's all within the fabric of our living because we're all interconnected. And I know that's a strange term, interconnected, but one thing to look at, or two things, is all living things have water inside, and every living being on this planet, from plants, trees, caterpillars, ants, elephants, whales, human beings, etc., goats, we all carry the same percentage of carbon-14, and that comes from the stars, so that already says we're all interconnected, and human beings aren't the only ones that carry that, and ants aren't the only ones. We all carry the same percentage of that, so we are connected no matter what, and so are our stories. But I think it is important to understand that I don't do this mystical numerology because I want to be so far out the herd. In fact, it's not a comfortable place to be. It's too controversial. I can't run with the herd. When people see me, there's a lot of questions raising. What is this? So I'm not within the herd, and that's a lonely place to be. And I don't really prefer it. But I don't prefer non-truths either. And in order for me to live truth, I have to exist outside that herd. And that's against one of the American values. We should all be seen as something that is understandable one to the other, which frankly I think is silly, but that's Western values. And it's not that I push against the herd, it's that I have to exist in a place where I feel order. And I don't feel order, and I don't feel as if most people feel this sense of order around us. So it's within the order that I embrace through mystical numerology, and that when I work with clients, I share this sense of order. But I don't become dogmatic about it because it's about principles. And principles are basic truths or ethic standards. They're standards within nature and the cosmos. And that creates order for me. And so I share this order to say that there is a form of order around us all. There's guidelines. Just like symbols create guidelines for us. These are guidelines that, to me, are very beautiful, very open, but they're still guidelines. So I offer valuable insight according to the order and guidelines that surround me. And in my beliefs, surround us all through energy and vibrations. When I was a kid, I was reared in three strong structures: Irish, Episcopalian, American exuberance. After the war, everything became so tidy, and the corporations were getting very large, and America was being guided through commercialism very strongly guide it through ideals, and guide it through its values. So no matter what people's beliefs are, they were pushed into these guidelines. But the difficulty I had, and this started from when I could talk, is there is no order. And you could say that this is based on a past incarnation of having order around me, because I came in here expecting to have this order, and there was no order. And the religion that was given to me showed no order at all. The religion made my parents very moody, very angry, and extremely violent. And the church backed this up. It's this puritanical thing going on. But then in the church on that one day, everybody would talk about love and generosity and compassion. And to me, those are nice principles. But it was like blue sky. It didn't create the order. What existed as the order was a lot of violence, a lot of judgment, a lot of criticism, threats, daily threats. God's going to do this to you, God's going to do that. And everyone's concept of that was different. You're a heathen, you're this, you're that, you're a whoremaster. These really strange words that you would tell a 3-year-old child. And each person differed. So there was no order. There was no principles, no order. And I needed order. It was so vastly inconsistent that I couldn't believe in the parents. I couldn't believe in the practitioners at the parishioners at the church. I couldn't believe in the minister, because one minute he'd be threatening you, and then the next minute he'd be talking about compassion, and then the next minute he'd be glorifying himself. Mostly glorifying self. And there was no order there. So I wanted order. And I believe that through a past incarnation, I had order. There was order in the people that I was with. There was order in the nation. There was order in the land. And there was order. Even though there were wars and there was all these crazy human things, there was still order. There were still principles that we were guided by the symbols around us. And they weren't threatening. So I didn't believe in the threats. I didn't believe in the violence. I didn't believe in any of this. So I fought against it. But I was fighting against chaos because I knew that there should be order. And I didn't feel any order at all. So it made me chaotic. It made me erratic. It made me angry. I didn't have order around me. There was a lot of violence around me that was it was Episcopalian speak. Children should do this and that, and the parents have the parents own the children should do that and this, even though Christianity said that, original Christianity said that children belong to the community, and that principle never existed. We were objects that had to be ruled and controlled, and if we didn't, then we received violence, and that's not order. So I embraced studies very early, and it just went on from there. Numerology, astrology, tarot, I Ching, anything that was esoteric, anything that I could find that would give me order, and numerology gave me that order. Now the thing that led me there was what these Episcopalians would talk about, that small still voice. And what they were telling me this small still voice was saying, my still voice, which wasn't just a whisper, it was like a gentle boom, never said these things. And in fact, to this day, still doesn't say it. And I know that with all of us, we resonate with that. That what we hear inside, we could call it intuition or whatever it is we want to call it. The guidance, the knowing, the wisdom. I call it the knowing, which is, of course, linked into many others, many dimensions, as I see it. But my still voice never said these things, ever, that these adults were saying to me. They never said anything about heaven and hell. They never said anything about a whoremaster. They never said anything about violence. They never persecuted me. They never, ever talked about me feeling the slightest bit of guilt or shame, which is very strong, or was strong, in this church. Always feeling guilty, that we had done these horrible things to this person. And my still voice never said that. So I wanted to know why their small still voice was saying this and mine wasn't. Why? What was going on here? So you grow up to learn that it's their interpretation of, or it's their belief system, or whatever it is. It's mainly their perception, their viewpoint, their blah blah. And that took many years. So when I work with mystical numerology, I have order around me. But it puts me so far outside the herd because these are strong principles that I believe in, but there's no one to share them with. This person may be Wiccan, this person may be a yuppie New Ager, this person may be like really far out there, this person could be a fanatical, a religious fanatic, this person could be secular, this person, and that's okay, but it's the feeling of sharing principles that I need for that order. And so I do the numerology and I do sessions because that is how I make my living, because I can't fit in these herds. There's no basic truth that connects me. But I do it so that from my viewpoint is to share this order with you and with others, and it's to have a feeling that this is strong and vibrating around us, which at the time of the session it is. So it's a sense of order. It gives me peace inside and a sense of order. But where mankind is today, Western man is today, it gives me enormous anxiety. So there's that anxiety piece, anxiety piece, anxiety piece, anxiety piece, anxiety. But the basic truths in mystical numerology, in nature's principles in sacred geometry, create that wonderful order around me. And I never have to wonder. I don't wonder about what is called death, that transition, because I have a knowing, what really happens. I know that everything's dimensional. I know that there's so much that is inside of my knowing from this small still voice and through research that I'm comfortable. But the only time that I'm very comfortable with others is when I'm sitting down and sharing this and opening up this insight, because it creates that sense of order around us, and it can be felt that there aren't parameters of violence, there aren't parameters of ugliness, there aren't parameters of control, there aren't parameters of pontificating, there aren't all these strange, weird, illusional parameters that don't really exist. It's like doing readings in the middle of the stars, and that for me is order, because I live by the principles of the stars. So that's why I do it. It's for a sense of order, and to share the order, and to feel the order by working with somebody or a group of people, and that's what's important to me. We're opening to basic truths, and basic truths, yes, as I know it, but it's a resonance of when you speak about these principles, and no laws, no tenets, no this, no that. It's just these truths that have been with us in mankind for thousands, if not millions of years. And it's a relaxing. It's just very relaxing to recognize one another as being multitudinous, to recognize one another as on a positive level, to recognize between us that let's move to a full positive potential, to talk about future probabilities, to say that nothing is stagnant or set or definitive. All those concrete things, kind of like burden us. And that's not within the order that I believe in. So, to conclude this is the last, because there has to be a triad. This is the last part of the segment. And this is the emotional reason of why I practice mystical star numerology. It's very, very, very important because of that sense of order and sharing that sense of order. Because I think what resonates with all of us is really searching for a link together of a principle. And, even a principle of gentleness and compassion, if it was maintained, like the origins in Christianity, the symbol, the dolphin of gentleness and compassion, and giving to self and to others. If we truly lived in these principles of one another, it would create an order. But we don't. So, I'm a mystical numerologist. Thank you for joining me.